In the city of Jerusalem, individuals have shared accounts of witnessing a mysterious triangle UFO hovering over the city. This mysterious incident that happened a few years ago has generated a great deal of discussion, conjecture, and interest in the field of UFO study and beyond. Analyzing the specifics and ramifications of this encounter offers an intriguing window into the continuous investigation into the nature of unexplained aerial phenomena. Several witnesses first reported sighting the strange triangular-shaped item hovering silently over Jerusalem's Holy Dome of the Rock in 2021. Videos of the incident soon went viral online, generating a lot of attention and scrutiny. One of the most popular shows a bright light falling from the sky, stopping suddenly and hovering above the skyline of an ancient city. It was shot from several different perspectives, and a few moments later, the object leaps skyward and is no longer visible. Witnesses reported the item as huge, triangular, and eerily silent, and these witnesses included tourists, local media, and residents. A weak, pulsating glow was observed coming from the underside of the craft by some, while others claimed to have seen 3 different lights at each corner of the triangle. Many onlookers were stunned and confused by the object's unexpected appearance and maneuverability, which immediately led to speculative discussions over its origin and intended use. The sighting of the Jerusalem Triangle UFO sparked intense attention in the UFO research community and attracted criticism from both mainstream media and skeptics. Examining the videos that were available, analysts and researchers searched for indications of digital modification or hoaxing. A number of specialists maintained their skepticism and attributed the sighting to common explanations, such as drones, aircraft, or optical illusions, while others felt that the material was real due to the consistency of witness accounts and video evidence. An important feature of the occurrence that contributed to the confusion around it was the lack of official government acknowledgement or supporting radar data. The Jerusalem Triangle UFO sighting has been the subject of ongoing dispute and speculation due to the lack of definitive evidence and the covert nature of government agency UFO investigations. The locals' curiosity and conjecture have been aroused by reports of this event. Strangely enough, this is not an isolated incident. Similar mysterious objects have been observed in this exact spot before, leading to conjecture over the unexplained draw that brings these objects here. Some people have expressed concerns about the underlying causes of the strange objects' frequent appearances in this area. Some researchers into the unknown who have looked into these cases above Jerusalem have commented that these unidentified objects over Jerusalem provide strong proof of unexplained events happening above the city and have suggested that this is a hotspot for these types of aircrafts. The strange form and behavior of the thing, especially its abrupt disappearance, point to capabilities beyond those of recognized aircraft. In addition, the sighting's location above one of the oldest and most historically significant cities in the world adds to the mystery and raises questions about potential reasons for the presence. On the other hand, detractors and skeptics contend that the videos might be the product of sophisticated hoaxes or CGI modification carried out for publicity or amusement. They highlight discrepancies in the video, such as differences in perspective and lighting, as possible signs of deliberate manipulation. Furthermore, doubts regarding the veracity of the incident have been heightened by the lack of supporting physical evidence or further eyewitness accounts. In the broader context of UFO phenomena, triangle-shaped UFOs have been reported in various locations worldwide, often described as large silent craft with lights at each corner. These sightings have been documented over several decades, leading to theories about possible military origins, secret technology prototypes, or more controversially, extraterrestrial visitations. The Jerusalem incident, with its clear visual documentation and multiple witnesses, aligns with these broader patterns of triangular UFO sightings. Although the triangle UFO's eyewitness reports differed, they all had similar elements. Numerous witnesses reported seeing the item with 3 different lights arranged in a triangle and a dark metallic underbelly that appeared to absorb light from the surrounding area. While some witnesses claimed to be struck with awe and interest, others expressed feelings of fear or foreboding when they saw the UFO. Even while the encounter sparked a lot of attention, efforts to get pictures or videos of the event were mostly fruitless. The only evidence that witnesses had to describe the amazing incident was their recollections after the UFO appeared to emanate an odd energy field that interfered with electronic gadgets. The strong memories of individuals who saw the incident nevertheless acted as a reminder of the unsolved mystery surrounding UFOs and their possible consequences for humanity. Following the incident, conjecture on the origin and intended use of the triangle UFO became widespread. Certain people speculated that it might be a top-secret military aircraft doing tests nearby, while others had more fantastical ideas about alien visitation. The sighting was written off by skeptics as a hoax or a mistaken identification of a conventional aircraft. But for those who were there, it changed their perspective on the world forever. One person said that the thing was probably a black military project aircraft. But as many others pointed out, why would you take a piece of unclassified technology and hover it over a major road where hundreds of people would see it? Many others concurred and noted that this seemed like an odd thing to do, adding that because the military has acres of land on which they could have done this, there was no need to take a chance by revealing technology that hasn't been made public yet. It's interesting to note that one of these triangle-shaped aircrafts has been seen over this area on previous occasions. For a long time, California has been a hot spot for UFO sightings, especially those involving triangle-shaped crafts, thanks to its various landscapes and energetic people. California has a long history of UFO sightings that have captivated the interest of both locals and tourists. These sightings can be found anywhere from the sun-kissed beaches of Southern California to the majestic redwoods in the north. Sightings of triangle UFOs stand out among the numerous reports of unexplained aerial phenomena as particularly intriguing, leading to conjecture over their origin and purpose. A number of things contribute to California's attraction as a triangular UFO hotspot, including its vast airspace, important military sites, and lively cultural zeitgeist. Due to the state's closeness to the Pacific Ocean, there are many prospects for UFO sightings. Witnesses frequently claim seeing UFOs close to naval installations and coastal areas. Furthermore, the very topography of California, which includes both wide-open deserts and heavily forested mountains, creates favorable circumstances for UFO activity by offering plenty of cover for covert operations and aerial maneuvers. The regularity and consistency of triangular UFO sightings in California is one of their most intriguing features. Witness reports of objects with a triangle shape moving through the night sky date back several decades in this state. Similar features mentioned by witnesses include low-altitude flight, silent propulsion, and triangular-like formations. These repeating patterns raise questions regarding the origin and purpose of triangular UFOs and point to their intentional and systematic presence in California airspace. The vast metropolis of Los Angeles is the center of UFO activity in Southern California. Many sightings have been reported in the area around the city and its adjacent suburbs. Witnesses have reported seeing triangle-shaped UFOs hovering over distant desert areas like Joshua Tree National Park and famous sites like the Hollywood Sign and Griffith Observatory. The Los Angeles area is known for being a hotspot for triangular UFO sightings because of how many people live there, making it easy for witnesses to notice and record UFO activity. Triangle UFO sightings have also been widely reported in the San Francisco Bay Area further north. Witnesses have reported seeing them close to Silicon Valley's tech centers and the craggy coastline cliffs of Marin County. Given the area's close proximity to significant military locations like Moffett Federal Airfield and Travis Air Force Base, some have conjectured that these sightings may have included classified aircraft or experimental technologies. It is challenging to determine the actual nature of these interactions, though due to the covert character of military operations in the region. The Triangle UFO sightings in California have drawn the interest of independent researchers as well as government entities, according to eyewitness reports from civilians. Due to the state's long history of military action and aerospace innovation, some analysts theorize that triangular UFOs could be connected to advanced aircraft prototypes or classified military projects. The mystery surrounding these encounters, however, is only increased by the government's lack of official acknowledgement or disclosure, which encourages conjecture and theories among UFO enthusiasts. A huge triangle-shaped object was seen flying above the state of California in 1997, which is one of the most well-known triangle UFO events in California history. Thousands of witnesses reported seeing the object. Californians are alert and keep a close eye on the night sky in the hopes of catching proof of this elusive aerial phenomenon. Even if the state is still a hotspot for triangle UFO sightings, it is conjectured to determine whether these sightings are the product of superior technology, secret military experiments, or extraterrestrial visitation. One thing is for sure, though, UFO enthusiasts all across the world are still enthralled with California's attraction as a triangle UFO hotspot, the mysterious Belgian UFO wave. During November 1989 and April 1991, Belgium saw a surge in UFO sightings that stands as one of the most amazing periods in UFO history. Furthermore, more than 2,000 event reports would be generated by the sightings, and the majority of these are inherently highly detailed. Additionally, more than 650 of these accounts were the focus of an inquiry, and 500 of these reports were never explained. The Belgian UFO wave is all about credible reports of unidentified object sightings. In fact, the authorities would be the ones to advocate for such extensive inquiries, and the Belgian government made it quite evident that even in the face of extremely illogical and odd occurrences, the people of a nation would and did respond with composure and reason. On November 29, 1989, just after 5 in the evening, patrolling police in the town of Eupen would alert their switchboard operator, Albert Cruz, to the presence of a massive aerial object hovering over a field in front of them. The witnesses who observed the mysterious object described it as being so bright, it was lighting up the pitch like a football stadium. Given that Christmas was almost here, Cruz joked, saying that it could have been Santa. However, the officers on duty advised him to climb to the top level and peer out the window to see it for himself. He followed advice after realizing the story was not a practical joke from his coworkers. And when he arrived, the enormous unidentified object was visible. Calls about the weird light object were flooding the switchboard by the time Cruz returned to his position. Dieter Plumans, a police officer, and his partner reported seeing the object, and Cruz instructed them to pursue it. It hovered over a retirement home for a few minutes before coming to a standstill. They too came to a stop and observed the strange spectacle taking place in front of them, and described that the object had 3 orange and brown lights in each corner, forming a clear triangle. A bright red light, which flashed at regular intervals, was located in the center of the underbelly. And they said that a small drone-like object emerged from the larger craft and began to flash in unison with the central light overhead while Plumans and his companion watched. After surveying the surroundings, it quickly reconnected with the triangle and headed out. That evening, police officers alone would report 13 sightings, and more than 60 of them would be citizens. The sightings garnered international notice by early December and were no longer just a domestic story. They all spoke about the same thing: a triangle with 3 orange lights and a red light in the center. By the evening of December 11th and into December 12th, there had been yet another spike in sightings. During the skies over Ernage, one of these sightings occurred. Andre Imond, a veteran Army colonel, was the witness. Imond and his wife would see 3 brilliant lights arranged in the shape of a triangle with a pulsating red light in the middle as they drove to the train station to pick up their son. Imond would stop his automobile so he could have a better look. The triangular spaceship also slowed as he did. He did this multiple times, the craft slowing down with him each time, and it then entered a nearby forest. Imond pursued it and eventually stopped his vehicle close to a wide open space, and the luminous flying object emerged from behind the trees. Imond would claim that there was absolutely no sound coming from this massive object, but he could hear other traffic and even a nearby train. The craft sped off just as he was ready to leave. Later, Imond would say that no man-made object can do what he had just witnessed. The public would begin to report more sightings, and many people in Liege and Namur would tell of sighting a triangle-shaped craft hovering over their homes, with a man from Jubelsermus reported seeing a bright object over the neighboring woodland, which he said was struggling to free itself from a spruce tree. He was so near that he could make out electron symbols on its side. When the wave started, the Belgian Society for the Study of Space Phenomena was already the biggest UFO organization in the country. But as more and more public accounts poured in, they nearly took front stage in the inquiry of the wave as a whole. For instance, following their interviews with the witnesses, they would frequently address the local and national press with extracts from their statements appearing in a number of periodicals. They served as the spokesperson for the Belgian wave in this fashion, at least while the activities were taking place. But as the number of reports rose, so did the need for their assistance. So much so that the organization began hiring an increasing number of investigators. This, at least theoretically and frequently cited by skeptics, may have somewhat lowered the investigators' overall competency and accuracy. The group may have assembled one of the most thorough and recorded accounts of a UFO wave. And while some could charge the organization with controlling the issue, those documents might end up being quite helpful. The sightings would persist in the skies over Belgium. The public was informed about official reporting processes by December 21st, and they would notify the authorities of the sighting. The radar station would be contacted as soon as the police had confirmed it, one that might send out F-16 fighter fighters on standby to intercept. Although it wasn't immediately known, the fighter jets had been launched on March 30th, 1990. According to information disclosed at a NATO press conference in July 1990, the significant number of reporters would hear Major General Wilfred de Brouwer's remarks via the tapes of an F-16 flying. The triangular craft reached a speed of more than 1,000 knots at one point, and in addition, it demonstrated the ability to increase speed from 100 to 500 knots in a short period of time. In the end, the craft disappeared at an incredible speed, and it could be worthwhile at this time to take a closer look at the jet chase. The aforementioned occurrence started on March 30th at 11 in the evening. Mr. Renkin, a gendarmerie master sergeant, would telephone the control reporting center from his residence. It would be his contention that he saw 3 odd lights traveling towards Thornbygene blue. He would state that it was evident the lights were attached to a triangle object's underside. Furthermore, they were unquestionably neither planets nor stars. He would also say that the lights, which included red, green, and yellow lights, were changing colors. To see the object for themselves, a patrol unit from the control reporting center would be sent to Rankin's land. By 11:10, Rankin reported that the first set of lights had been joined by another set of 3 lights arranged in a triangle. The Control Reporting Center reported an unidentified object on their systems at the same time. Just before 11:30, the patrol squad would reach the Rankin property, and they verified the unusual lights promptly. Captain Pinson was among those present. Even though the prevailing color is red, he noted in his report back to the Control Reporting Center that the color changes often. The lights appeared to follow no specific sequence or pattern, yet they would alternate between blue, white, yellow, and green. The Control Reporting Center kept an eye on the odd anomaly on their radar systems, as Rankin and the patrol unit kept observing the lights. Just before midnight, the Traffic Control Center reported seeing another confirmed radar detection. The order to send military fighters on an intercept operation was delivered at 11:56. Over the course of the first 7 minutes on March 31st, the F-16 attempted 9 interceptions in all. But on the 3 occasions they were able to lock onto their targets, they would just vanish at the previously noted lightning-fast speed. The witnesses on the ground saw as this happened, and they could still make out the triangular lights. And sometimes they could even make out the F-16 circling the area where the UFOs were hovering. From their vantage point, they saw the larger, brighter triangle rise quickly, hiding some of the lights but leaving the brightest visible, while the smaller set of lights vanished as the jets neared. The jets kept trying to lock on and intercept the unusual plane for the next 40 minutes or so, but all of them would fall short. The craft had entirely disappeared from the radar screen by 1 in the morning. 5 minutes later, though, there was another sighting reported from the ground. In a different area of the city, Pinson would keep tracking the lights from below, and some of the information he would provide is fascinating, especially, as we will discuss later, when the legitimacy of the Pelirashan photo is investigated. He would say that the light with the greatest brightness seemed to move in quick, jerky movements. Many arguments were put up in response to the claim that there was noticeable distortion surrounding the lights in the image above. There were no further reports of the unusual object that evening, and by 1:30 in the evening, it seemed to have vanished permanently. That night, Eve Milbergs was one of the pilots. It seemed possible that Milberg's tape was exhibiting a magnetic fault because the other F-16 cassettes were also malfunctioning. Years later, Milbergs would say that he firmly believed there was something in the sky that night. He would go on to cite witnesses on the ground, the control tower's own radar system, and his own confirmation tapes. The reports of sightings would keep coming in thick and fast until late spring of 1991. Then they would stop as fast as they started. But before they could, a gullible bystander would take what may turn out to be the most significant UFO photo ever. Because of the simultaneous observations of ground witnesses and radar, the jet chase on March is arguably one of the most fascinating and convincing incidents of the Belgian wave. The fact that the eyewitnesses on the ground were unable to take photos or even record video of the incidents may have been unfortunate. However, the incident happened very quickly, which put them in a difficult situation when it came to reporting what they saw. Nonetheless, it may or may not add a bit more credence to the witnesses' account that they were gendarmes. The incidents. Comparatively high altitude at which the sighting took place sets it apart from many previous Belgian wave events. Moreover, the very high speeds on exhibit seem to rule out the possibility that the triangular plane was just a mistakenly identified conventional aircraft. This also enables us to rule out the possibility that the lights were celestial bodies. An additional fascinating finding made by researchers concerning the remarkable velocities recorded was the conspicuous absence of sound at velocities that would have undoubtedly breached the sound barrier. Coincidentally, this component of the jet chase has never been addressed, despite numerous hypotheses offered by dubious quarters to account for the sightings. The fact that just one radar ping was detected for the whole triangle of lights may also be intriguing, as it implies that the lights were actually a single solid object. Skeptics also frequently ignore this other component of the incident. In essence, one of the most significant elements of the wave as a whole seems to have been the aircraft chase in late March, and one that merits more research. Despite the tremendous attention and seeming veracity around the petty Rechamp shot, many have deemed it to be a complete fabrication. And when a hitherto unidentified guy named Patrick M. came forward to acknowledge the photo, it seemed that these charges were true. He would later be identified as Patrick Miracle, who publicly explained to the media how he created the photograph. He even showed previously unreleased images of the tests he conducted to get the ideal shot. Before Patrick Miracle's entrance, there were inquiries from many quarters. For instance, it was noted that there were grounds for suspicion given the 4-month delay in submitting the photo for public review. On the other hand, someone would have stepped up sooner rather than later if they had intended to deceive the public. Further doubts about the image's veracity are raised by critics who claim that the background of the picture isn't real. Even while it seems doubtful, it's possible that this was a staged admission made to deflect attention from the case, while also making it simpler to write off subsequent sightings that are similar as being fabricated or misidentified. Perhaps we ought to keep these ideas in the back of our minds. As one might expect, several theories have been proposed to account for the recent spike of sightings throughout Belgium. Though many sightings, it seems, might just as well be attributed to misidentified airplanes or even celestial objects. The skeptical perspective seems to center on the idea of simple mass delusion or panic. According to some opinions, the UFO investigative team that carried out the real-time investigations during the sightings overstated the reports and, in Mark Hallett's opinion, disseminated false information. Hallett concludes that the Belgian wave was nothing more than a widespread hallucination that was fed by the seeming dissemination of false information. Similar opinions were expressed by Philippe Claes, who asserted that the public's perception of UFO sightings and reports was just the result of Belgian media persuading people that UFOs may be in the vicinity. The multi-pilot Canadian UFO sighting, because of their extensive flying experience and the potential damage to their reputations from disclosing such sightings. Professional airline pilots' reports of UFO sightings are frequently considered very trustworthy. Not only did one airline pilot see something unusual above the skies of Canada in the early hours of January 2024, but numerous did as well. Furthermore, the audio recording of the conversations between the pilots and the control tower is available for public listening. There is still disagreement on exactly what was seen in those wee hours. Despite many justifications being offered, the overwhelming majority of persons who witnessed those bizarre occurrences are adamant that what they observed was not a typical aircraft nor a naturally occurring phenomenon. Reports from the Transport Canada database state that beginning at approximately 4:20 in the morning on January 19, 2024, a number of pilots in various aircraft reported seeing unusual lights in the Canadian prairie skies. Additionally, the conversation between the pilots and air traffic control was captured on camera and made available to the general public. When the pilot of the Morningstar 7060 asked if there were any active military in the airspace just north of Winnipeg, they were told there weren't any that they were aware of at the start of the clip. The pilot continued by describing lots of active bright lights information. At a height of roughly 50,000 feet, there were 3 of them in total. The pilot reported seeing 3 or 4 really bright lights, and then they kind of form like a triangle formation, and then they disappear. and then they come back. This was in response to the control tower's request for confirmation of what he had seen. The recording makes it quite evident that the air traffic controller is really confused by the information the pilot is providing him, and things would only become stranger later that morning. Air traffic control started contacting other planes after this initial discussion to find out if they had also noticed flashing lights. A little over 10 minutes later, Air Canada 7086, another aircraft, reported seeing an aircraft with odd flashing lights right in front of them. Additionally, it was said that these lights were forming triangles, then flying away and coming back. Air traffic control at this point verified that this was the second observation of the identical aerial show. It was obvious that morning that there was something odd in the skies. Shortly after, some sort of flashing lights somewhere over the prairies, perhaps in a triangle shape, prompted a request for information from Cargo Jet 591, a crew member on Air Canada 328 provided a possible explanation, stating that they had also observed the lights and wondered if they matched the heading of the position of the sun or if they were just like a reflection from the sun. They spent about an hour watching the lights, he added, and saw that they seemed to move up as they moved east, which led him to wonder if they were sun reflections. The pilot clarified, though, that this was only a wild guess and that the light show looks quite spectacular and weird, whatever it was. The crew of Air Canada 78-6 received a suggestion from the pilot of Air Canada 328 through the control tower. Although he was certainly no expert, the pilot disagreed with the assessment, saying that it doesn't really seem like they're in any type of orbit and that they're moving side to side, and then going away from each other and then forming triangles. The control tower can be heard in the recording asking Flare 600 if they were still seeing the unusual lights that they had previously reported. They said they were in response, adding it's very strange. About 6 of them are flying at a high and random formation. It's also noteworthy to note that during these interactions, one of the pilots asked the control tower what protocol they have in place for reporting sightings. The operator responds that the shift manager will receive them and choose whether or not to file any additional reports. The pilot inquires as to whether the control tower will report the sightings as a UFO, to which they reply that the shift manager will be presented with the precise report submitted by the relevant pilots before they take any additional action. This illustrates how simple it would be to consider UFO sightings to be lost in the sea of knowledge about contemporary aircraft as it may already be. The airborne anomalies that January morning were recorded by at least 4 different aircraft between 4:20 and 6 in the morning. Whatever the lights were, they were higher than their aircraft, according to all of them. One pilot estimated that they were at a height of about 100,000 feet. The lights were estimated to be between 80 and 90 miles away, and they appeared to be going east based on the positions of several of the planes that made reports in the sky. The admission made by 2 other aircrew members that night, while they had not observed anything unusual that specific night, that they had been seeing those lights for probably the last 18 months or so, was also noteworthy. The pilot added that the lights' movements were consistent with what they had previously observed, describing them as sometimes making a triangle, sometimes making a diamond and square, and adding that they were always eastbound and always at the 11 or 12 position. It's interesting to note that another pilot claimed to have seen the light before, but only in the west, which may indicate it wasn't a natural phenomenon. In the end, that morning's events left everyone involved feeling a mixture of fascinated and confused. On a Morningstar Air Express freight flight from Calgary to Toronto, the pilots stated that the objects they had observed were unlike anything I've ever seen in the 15 years of night flying, and that they were definitely not satellites. According to a second witness, an air traffic controller, they said that there was no active airspace, military airspace, or anything like that we're aware of further saying that they honestly had no idea what that might be. In the middle of the incidents, there is a shift change in the control tower, and the new operator is assigned by her shift manager to complete a form detailing the sightings. She starts asking the pilots the questions, and it's interesting to hear their answers. A brief description of the sighting number, size, shape is the first question posed by the operator. After replying that multiple different points of light would be the way we would describe this, one of the pilots goes on to say that there's no specific numbers, adding that sometimes there were 3, sometimes there were 6, and sometimes there were just some individual lights just flying at random intervals. The pilot estimated that the lights were between 170,000 feet above the ground. The same pilot said that the movement was so random and all over the place in reaction to the direction of movement of the object. On occasion, they saw 3 lights in a triangle formation just flying randomly up and down, left, right, all over the place. And the pilot reported that as far as they could see, they were moving at a very fast pace and in all directions. Pilots reported seeing extremely similar lights just under 2.5 hours later at about 8:20 in the morning, about north of Birmingham, Alabama in the United States. Thanks to the Memphis Air Traffic Control radio channel, the pilot's conversation was made available to the public. One of the pilots asks whether anyone else can see the unusual lights that appear to be to the west of the jet at the beginning of the audio. These lights were really high in formation and really bright. The pilot replies that there are multiple lights and that they are coming from the west. When the controller asks where the lights are, the pilot said they didn't think so, since Starlink doesn't flash in response to the suggestion that they might be seeing Starlink satellites. It is debatable whether or not these lights were the same as those seen above Canada a few hours prior. Still, that would seem highly likely. And if that's the case, it seems that in the early hours of January 19th, 2024, something quite bizarre and unusual was making its way over the continent of North America. The audio feed provides a fascinating insight into the witnesses' demeanor during the encounter, in addition to their understanding of aviation. This makes the Canadian Prairies incident noteworthy, even though the witnesses are all well-trained pilots with extensive aviation experience. It is undeniable that several experienced pilots saw something unusual that evening. This may be especially true given that at least 2 other pilots claim to have observed the same light formations. On earlier occasions, even though they were not present when the weird lights appeared on that specific night, and not just once, but multiple times. In addition, we are aware that Canada, like many other parts of North America, has a long history of UFO reports. Therefore, it shouldn't come as a surprise that pilots may frequently observe these odd airborne abnormalities. We might be curious about the number of further sightings that have not been reported to the media or to anyone at all. As of today, these UFO mysteries remain unsolved. Many UFO sightings go unreported due to fear of ridicule or disbelief. Therefore, the number of reported sightings may not accurately reflect the total number of incidents. Despite these challenges, organizations and various government agencies around the world track and compile data on reported UFO sightings. For instance, many of these websites alone receives thousands of reports annually from individuals claiming to have witnessed unidentified aerial phenomena. Within our expansive solar system, where the sun radiates as the central celestial body, sporadic abnormalities and mysteries captivate the curiosity of astronomers and fans alike. Recently, a mysterious phenomena occurred when amateur astronomers saw a massive round unidentified object in close proximity to the sun. This observation, recorded by solar observatories, has ignited conjecture and discussion over its essence and source. Mainly because this isn't the first time that this mysterious object has been observed close to the Sun. The discovery of the mysterious object was first reported by amateur astronomers and researchers who were analyzing data from NASA's Solar and Heliospheric Observatory and the Solar Dynamics Observatory. These space-based observatories are equipped with advanced instruments capable of capturing high-resolution images and videos of solar activity, including solar flares, coronal mass ejections, and other phenomena. In the midst of routine observations of the Sun's dynamic behavior, astronomers noticed a peculiar anomaly near the solar limb, a large circular object appearing to hover close to the Sun's surface. This is one recent image that has been circulating, and it seems to depict what appears to be a massive black object hovering just above the Sun. Since these enormous craft are coming straight from NASA and other space organizations, we know they are real. Initial analysis of the imagery revealed a distinct, perfect circular shape and structure, contrasting sharply with the surrounding solar corona. The object's proximity to the Sun presented a challenge for researchers attempting to discern its true nature, and the intense heat and radiation emitted by the radiant Sun make it difficult for spacecraft and telescopes to operate close to its surface, limiting the duration and clarity of observations. Despite these challenges, astronomers managed to capture multiple images and videos of the mysterious object as it traversed near the solar limb. Speculation about the identity of the object ranged from natural phenomena to more exotic possibilities. While many who have viewed this shot have speculated that it's a coronal mass ejection, others have noted that they are often observed as jets of plasma rather than perfectly formed black circles, and that they are never seen in this shape. The Sun's outer atmosphere, known as the corona, is the source of stunning and potent eruptions of solar plasma and magnetic fields, known as coronal mass ejections. With the ability to release enormous amounts of solar material into space at speeds ranging from hundreds to over 2,000 kilometers per second, these occurrences rank among the most energetic events in our solar system. The dynamics of the Sun's magnetic field and the process by which plasma is ejected from the solar corona determine the forms of coronal mass ejections. Coronal mass ejections can occasionally be seen as a wide, fan-shaped structure or expanding plume coming from the Sun's limb. The massive release of magnetic energy and solar material causes these plumes to travel over great distances in the solar corona and into the interplanetary region beyond. Although the majority of coronal mass ejections have a roughly symmetrical or fan-shaped appearance, irregular or asymmetrical shapes can result from the complex dynamics of the solar corona or from the interplay of several magnetic loops. Some propose that it could be a previously unknown type of solar phenomenon, such as a rare configuration of magnetic fields or plasma dynamics interacting in the Sun's outer atmosphere. Others suggested the object might be a comet or asteroid on a trajectory that brought it unusually close to the Sun, although its circular shape and apparent stability raise questions about this hypothesis. As images and data of the unidentified object circulated within the groups that investigate strange phenomena, public interest in the discovery grew. Social media platforms and online forums buzzed with theories and interpretations, with some individuals speculating about advanced origins or the presence of technology capable of withstanding the Sun's extreme conditions. Interestingly, those who believe that this is an unidentified object have suggested that objects could be utilizing the Sun as a potential energy source for powering their spacecraft. The Sun, a massive nuclear fusion reactor at the center of our solar system, radiates immense amounts of energy into space. This energy, in the form of sunlight and solar radiation, represents a virtually limitless resource compared to finite fuel sources on Earth. For a technologically advanced civilization capable of interstellar travel, tapping into the sun's energy could provide a sustainable and abundant power supply for spacecraft propulsion and operations over vast distances. One concept for utilizing the sun's energy in space travel involves solar sails, large reflective surfaces that capture and reflect sunlight to generate propulsive force. Solar sails operate on the principle of radiation pressure, where photons exert a small amount of pressure when they strike a surface, and this pressure, although extremely subtle, can accumulate over time to accelerate spacecraft to high velocities without the need for traditional fuel. UFOs equipped with advanced solar sail technology can maneuver through the solar system by adjusting the orientation of their sails to capture sunlight and harness radiation pressure. By leveraging the sun's energy in this way, UFOs could potentially achieve efficient and continuous acceleration over long distances, enabling rapid transit between star systems or within our own solar neighborhood. Another theoretical approach involves cell technologies capable of converting sunlight into electricity with high efficiency, could provide a reliable energy source for UFOs operating in the vicinity of the sun. These solar arrays could be integrated into the spacecraft's exterior surfaces or deployed as external panels to maximize energy capture. Theoretical UFO designs might incorporate sophisticated energy storage systems to store excess solar energy for use during periods of reduced sunlight, such as when traveling through deep space or eclipsed by planets. This would ensure continuous operation of critical systems and propulsion mechanisms without relying on traditional fuel sources. UFOs navigating the solar system could also leverage the sun's gravitational field to achieve complex orbital maneuvers and gravity assists. By carefully plotting trajectories around the sun and utilizing gravitational slingshot maneuvers near planets, UFOs could conserve onboard fuel and optimize their travel routes. This strategy is commonly employed by spacecraft like NASA's Parker Solar Probe, which uses multiple gravity assists from Venus to achieve close encounters with the sun. Theoretical UFO designs might incorporate advanced navigation systems and autonomous control algorithms to calculate precise trajectories and execute complex maneuvers in the dynamic environment near the sun. By harnessing gravitational forces and solar energy in tandem, UFOs could achieve unprecedented speeds and maneuverability in their exploration of the solar system and beyond. For amateur astronomers and researchers alike, the sighting of the large, circular object near the sun served as a reminder of the vastness and complexity of our solar system. Buzz Aldrin is best known for being one of the first two humans to walk on the moon during the Apollo 11 mission in 1969. Along with Neil Armstrong, Aldrin landed on the lunar surface and spent about 2.5 hours outside the spacecraft conducting experiments and collecting samples of the moon's surface. Aldrin was also the first person to take a selfie in space, and he played a significant role in the development of space exploration and technology. After leaving NASA, Aldrin became an advocate for human missions to Mars and has been actively involved in the space industry, working on concepts such as reusable spacecraft and space tourism. Interestingly, back in February 2009, Buzz talked in an interview about space exploration and said that a new mission into space will reignite the public's interest. However, at the end of the interview, he detailed that there's a monolith on the surface of Phobos and said that we should go and investigate it. He said the following: "Visit the moon of Mars. There's a monolith there, a very unusual structure on this little potato object that goes around Mars once in 7 hours." End quote. The Phobos monolith is an object that has been proposed to exist on the surface of Phobos, which is one of the 2 small moons of Mars. The idea of a monolith on Phobos gained attention in the 1970s, when the moon was first photographed up close by the Viking 1 and 2 spacecraft. The monolith was initially suggested to be a large artificial object, possibly created by an extraterrestrial civilization. However, subsequent high-resolution images and closer observations by more advanced spacecraft have only caused more questions to arise. Today, most scientists believe that the Phobos monolith is simply a natural geological feature, such as a large boulder or a rock formation, that appears unusually smooth and rectangular in shape due to erosion and other processes on the moon's surface. However, without going there and conducting experiments, some are of the belief that the mysterious object was placed there on purpose, noting that nothing in the surrounding area matches the strange object. The Phobos monolith mystery is amplified by the fact that Phobos is completely barren. Whilst Mars has an atmosphere and a weather system, Phobos sits silently in space with its solitary monolith pointing up towards the heavens. What's more is that Phobos is tiny compared to the grand scale of the universe, making the sight of something so massive atop of a small celestial body even more creepy. The effects of erosion are common for strange discoveries on other planets. Mars itself has been the subject of many strange discoveries, such as the Mars face, the Mars pyramid, and even the levitating spoon. These rock formations are usually a result of our perspective from Earth, as well as millions of years of rock degradation. While interesting to many, Phobos has yet to receive any significant research or space exploration. OpTech and the Mars Institute have proposed that the site of the monolith be investigated. This mission is referred to as PRIME, fully known as the Phobos Reconnaissance and International Mars Exploration. The proposed mission would see a lander touchdown on the surface of the lonely moon to take samples of the moon's geology. Currently, the PRIME mission is not set to go ahead, and talks of funding are next to non-existent. In fact, when Aldrin discussed the idea of sending a mission to Phobos, he said the following: "When people find out about that, they are going to say, 'Who put that there?'" End quote. Cryovolcanoes on Ceres. In the main asteroid belt that sits between Mars and Jupiter lies Ceres, the largest of the asteroids. Ceres, first discovered in 1801 by Giuseppe Piazzi, was originally classified as a planet. This was until other large objects were discovered in the same neighborhood as Ceres. Astrologists at the time realized they were looking at a new type of object in space, so the term asteroid, meaning star-like, was first coined to describe these new objects. In the 1860s, it was widely accepted that these large asteroids had major differences to the planets we know, but a specific definition of planet was never formulated. At the February 2006 Pluto debate, it was discussed the specific criteria that had to be met in order for an object to be considered a planet. Had it not been for a modification to this criteria stating the planet must have cleared the neighborhood around its orbit, Ceres would today be the fifth planet from the Sun. Obviously, due to the asteroid belt it lies within, Ceres is not classified as a planet, but a dwarf planet and an asteroid simultaneously. Now, whilst the controversy surrounding Ceres classification is certainly interesting, that's not what we're going to discuss today. Ceres itself is home to something much more fascinating. Since early 2015, NASA's Dawn spacecraft has orbited the icy world of Ceres, examining its surface closely. It wasn't until quite a few months had passed that the Dawn would observe something so fascinating but so bizarre at the same time. It was a 13,000-foot tall mound closely resembling what we know as a volcano. Scientists named it a Hanamans. In 2016, it was confirmed that a Hanamans was indeed a volcano, but not your average volcano, a cryovolcano. A cryovolcano is, as you can imagine, a volcano, but with a twist. Instead of releasing molten rock or lava like the volcanoes we have on Earth, a cryovolcano erupts water, methane, or ammonia. The water and other gases released often turn into a solid form once exposed to the low temperature surrounding the volcano. Hence, the more colloquial name ice volcanoes. These eruptions are referred to as cryomagma or cryolava. During eruption, they are liquid but are also released as a vapor. Cryovolcanoes are thought to be able to form on moons and asteroids that used to have an abundance of water. The reason the Hanomans erupts water and other substances rather than magma is simple. The temperatures on Ceres are simply too cold to melt rock, but warm enough that ice can melt. A Hanomans was only able to be understood more when scientists examined mineral salt, likely the product of a cryovolcanic eruption. Inside, the equator crater found it had origins in the Hanomans, which in turn relates both fascinating natural structures. The equator crater is 57 miles across and as deep as a Hanomans is high. The large impact that tore the giant equator crater into the surface of the dwarf planet must have originally started everything and triggered the later cryovolcanic activity, says Andreas Nathuis, framing camera lead investigator for Max Planck. After this event, rock around the planet reshuffled and moved up towards the surface. The change in pressure allowed water and dissolved gases to escape that would eventually form a volcano. It's also suggested that many smaller explosions around the dwarf planet caused the cryovolcanism rather than one major event. Cryovolcanism isn't exclusive to Ceres, though, as it has been spotted on Enceladus, one of Saturn's moons, Europa, a moon of Jupiter, and Triton, Neptune's largest moon. Cryovolcanoes are a fascinating insight into the wonders of the universe and things we couldn't even imagine being possible. Space tourism company to launch commercial flights to the stratosphere by 2024. Traveling to space, a concept that, until recently, was nothing more than a wishful fantasy straight out of a sci-fi novel or TV show. Well, now Worldview Enterprises has entered the scene, and they are planning on revolutionizing the spaceflight industry to make spaceflights accessible to a wider range of people. Worldview Enterprises was established 10 years ago in Arizona and is now offering a journey into space by using rocketless balloons that will travel straight up into the stratosphere. A far cry from Bezos' Blue Origin flight, the Worldview Enterprises experience will be an interesting endeavor, to be sure. The balloons will lift Voyagers 18 miles into the air. This is nowhere near as deep into space as the company's competitors offer. True space is said to begin at the Kármán line, 100 kilometers into space, though others argue it begins at 50 miles up. Blue Origin's flight can get you just above the Kármán line at 106 kilometers. The peak of the Worldview Enterprises flight might disappoint, but they are confident in their rocketless aviation, claiming it will be worth the once-in-a-lifetime experience. Clients will be able to witness the Earth's curve for the first time with their own eyes, as well as see the true darkness of space. CEO Ryan Hartman stated, "We're redefining space tourism." Lamentably, the tickets start at $50,000, hardly a cheap venture for those curious about participating in the journeys. The flights are said to be between 6 and 8 hours in length. Some journeys might last several days. The balloons are, more accurately, capsules that can hold up to 8 people at a time. The company is planning on operating 100 flights annually over various historically or culturally important landmarks that will supposedly last 5 days. Some such destinations include the Great Barrier Reef, the Giza Pyramids, and the wonders of the world, and the journeys are allegedly going to be smooth and gentle. Worldview Enterprises argue that unlike Blue Origin flights, which use rocket power and suffer G-force, their balloon alternatives will allow people of all sizes and ages to traverse space. When asked about whether the Worldview Enterprise space travel is a joyride, CEO Ryan Hartman refuted it, saying it's much bigger and more important than most people realize. Hartman claims he wishes to turn space travel into a commodity for All sorts of people from all walks of life, for families, for couples, for cosmos-loving individuals. In the realm of modern technology and exploration, the discovery of unknown or mysterious phenomena often begins with the click of a mouse or a tap on a screen. Google Earth, with its vast database of satellite imagery, has become a tool not only for navigation and geographic exploration, but also for uncovering mysteries hidden beneath the Earth's surface. One such mystery unfolded in the remote and frigid waters surrounding Antarctica, where an unsuspecting user of Google Earth stumbled upon a startling and perplexing sight. A large underwater humanoid figure captured in the depths of the Southern Ocean. The discovery occurred in early 2023, when an amateur explorer and enthusiast of remote places was conducting a virtual tour of Antarctica using Google Earth satellite imagery. As the individual navigated the satellite imagery around the coastline of Antarctica, he noticed a peculiar shape beneath the icy waters near Deception Island in Antarctica. Initially dismissing it as a glitch or artifact in the imagery, he zoomed in for a closer look. He couldn't believe what he saw, describing it as a massive humanoid figure lying motionless just beneath the icy surface. Since the photos are oddly unique and cannot be replicated on Google Earth, some have speculated that they may have accidentally leaked online but have since been deleted. The figure appeared humanoid in shape with distinct features that resembled arms, legs, and a head, although exaggerated in proportion compared to a typical human. Its surface seemed to glisten faintly, hinting at a smooth and reflective texture that defied natural formations. The individual immediately captured screenshots of the anomaly and shared them on social media, igniting a flurry of speculation and debate. News of the discovery spread rapidly across online forums and news outlets. Researchers into the unknown weighed in with theories ranging from ancient underwater civilizations to mysterious beings, something that has been talked about by various fishermen and sailors throughout the region. Following the initial flurry of excitement and subsequent investigation into the discovery of the underwater humanoid off the coast of Antarctica, many researchers said that the creature was removed from Google Earth's publicly accessible satellite imagery. One individual shared an observation mentioning that it is a frequent occurrence for Google Earth to obscure specific locations that they prefer to keep hidden from public view. Additionally, this user noted that there have been multiple documented instances of Google engaging in this practice. This behavior of selectively blurring out areas has sparked curiosity and speculation among users about the reasons behind such actions. In the present day, the reasons behind their actions remain unclear. Yet, experts in the analysis of mysterious objects suggest that this behavior is a deliberate attempt to suppress discussions or conceal the artifacts, making them inaccessible for further discovery. The motives driving these actions are shrouded in mystery, prompting speculation and intrigue among researchers. This strange behavior fuels intrigue and speculation within the academic community, as the true intentions behind these efforts to conceal the artifacts remain elusive. What adds to the intrigue is the timing of this revelation, occurring mere days subsequent to the baffling disappearance of other mysterious underwater formations from satellite imagery. Many suggested that this mysterious creature could have been the Ningen, an immense variety of unique species that are unique to this region of the world thrive in the vast and icy waters of Antarctica. However, in this cold realm, there are tales of a singular being that sticks out because of its remarkable height of about 90 feet and its unnerving resemblance to a human. A mysterious being frequently mentioned in folklore, the Ningen exudes mystery as it appears to rise from the depths. The Ningen's continued presence in the icy waters of Antarctica is mysterious and alluring, raising questions about its history and significance in this icy region. The enormous aquatic Ningen is sometimes characterized as a giant humanoid with pale white skin and appendages that resemble human limbs on its fins. This creature's skin has a texture that is very similar to that of a beluga whale, slimy and fatty. Witnesses claim seeing this strange monster with two enormous eyes below its head and a wide mouth shaped like a slit. No other distinguishable features have been disclosed as of yet. Witnesses have noted that the Ningen is mostly active at night, based on their observations and comments regarding its nocturnal habits. The Ningen is more frequently observed at night, according to sources, which suggests that it surfaced during the dark hours to breathe or forage for food without being noticed. The mysterious Ningen first came to light in the 1990s when Japanese fishermen described having an odd encounter with one of these monsters under a peaceful, starry sky. They were sailing over the Pacific Ocean when the incident occurred. Initially, the crew thought the massive white object was an emerging submarine that was getting too close to their boat. After further examining it, they found that it was a massive organic creature rather than a man-made steel structure. Standing at the ship's side, the fisherman was enthralled with the enormous stature and pale appearance of this extraterrestrial being. The creatures glided softly and effortlessly across the ocean's surface, disappearing into the dark, cold depths, leaving the onlookers spellbound. This extraordinary event, which left the fishermen in a state of shock and wonder, left a lasting impression on them of the mysterious Ningen. After the first sighting report, several fishing boats in the southern Pacific Ocean, off the coast of the Arctic, began to share their experiences of seeing these incredible massive animals. Numerous credible sources continually provided an impressive picture. The enormous creature stood out for having a pale, incredibly large body with two large eyes over a large slit-like mouth. Moreover, it possessed appendages that resembled limbs, albeit primitive ones, that is, human arms and legs. These animals were estimated to be between 20 and 90 feet long, which is not much smaller than the enormous size of a blue whale. Estimates of their exact proportions varied widely. More study and inquiry into these inexplicable occurrences resulted. From the witnesses' amazement and wonder about the presence of these mysterious beings. As reports of sightings grew, doubts regarding the veracity of the Ningen creature began to surface, sparking speculation that it might be a fake. Digitally, edited photos quickly became popular on the internet, overtaking discussion boards and chat rooms. Some individuals firmly believed that the Ningen were a weird physical creature that glided silently across the icy waters of the Arctic, despite the fact that many others thought the Ningen were totally imagined. Even in the face of general skepticism, these devout believers continued to think that the Ningen was a real creature slogging through the icy depths, rather than a myth. The strange object known as the Ningen has been the subject of much speculation since it was initially discovered more than 30 years ago. Some have even suggested that it could be a case of misidentification involving a recognized species. Some scientists speculate that the occurrences people have observed may be related to the presence of a large, as yet undiscovered, albino ray or skate subspecies that lives in the very cold waters. This organism's purported albino trait could be advantageous for evolution because it allows it to blend in with the icy Arctic environment. On the other hand, detractors argue that anybody claiming to have sighted the Ningen could be mistaking it for a recognized whale species, including bowhead whales or belugas. However, as with other examples involving mysterious species, it is still challenging to obtain confirmation of the Ningen's existence. Its actuality will be proved by either locating a physical specimen that unequivocally attests to its existence or by conducting exhaustive scientific analyses that consistently yield no proof of its existence. The striking thing about the sightings at Ningen is how consistent the witness accounts are throughout the range of testimonials, Supporters of the phenomenon claim that the fact that multiple people from diverse backgrounds and places have reported seeing a creature that resembles the Ningen lends credibility to the phenomenon. The witnesses attest to the creature's enormous size, ethereal appearance, and apparently conscious movements as it makes its way through the icy depths of its aquatic domain. A wide range of theories, from plausible to fanciful, have been proposed to explain the origins and nature of the Ningen. Some speculate that the monster may be a recently discovered species that has adapted to thrive in the severe Antarctic climate, while others believe it to be a genetically altered or mutated organism that originated from covert scientific research conducted in the region. Even if there is controversy and debate regarding the Ningen's existence, its story endures as proof of humanity's enduring interest in the natural world's secrets. Antarctic expeditions continue to search for proof of this weird animal because they want to know if the tales that have captured the imaginations of so many people are true. In the absence of definitive proof, the mystery surrounding the Ningen and its possible existence in the uncharted regions of the Antarctic Ocean must remain a source of reflection for both believers and skeptics. The myth surrounding the monster endures as a reminder of the countless wonders and mysteries that lie beneath the hostile and remote corners of our planet. Regardless of whether it is a real living organism, a cultural artifact, or something altogether more bizarre. The notion of secret operations in Antarctica conjures images of covert military bases, hidden research facilities, and even ideas involving advanced contact or ancient civilizations. One plausible scenario for secret operations in Antarctica involves military or intelligence activities conducted under the guise of scientific research. Military reconnaissance, surveillance, and testing of advanced technologies could potentially be conducted in Antarctica's remote regions, taking advantage of its isolated and sparsely populated environment. Strategic interests in Antarctica are underscored by its geopolitical significance and proximity to key global transit routes. The continent's potential for natural resources, including minerals and freshwater reserves locked in ice, adds further incentive for nations to explore and potentially exploit its resources under the guise of scientific exploration. Theories surrounding Antarctica often speculate about hidden bases operated by governments or clandestine organizations. These theories suggest that Antarctica may harbor ancient artifacts, advanced technologies, or evidence of advanced visitation that are kept hidden from public knowledge. One popular theory posits that Antarctica may be a gateway to underground or underwater structures linked to ancient civilizations or advanced technology. In the quiet waters of Oklahoma's lakes, an eerie legend persists, whispered among locals and intrepid adventurers alike. The tale of the Oklahoma octopus, a giant cephalopod said to inhabit the lakes of this landlocked state, has intrigued and frightened swimmers and divers for years. While mainstream science questions the existence of such a creature, numerous encounters have been reported, contributing to the mysterious lore surrounding this alleged freshwater monster. This octopus-like creature is said to be 6 to 15 feet in length, with skin that is reddish-brown and strong tentacles that had the power to take unsuspecting swimmers. Though its exact origins are unknown, some accounts link the legend to Native American folklore about an odd aquatic creature that has a hunger for human flesh. Some claim that the large number of drownings and disappearances that have happened in the Oklahoma lakes throughout the years served as inspiration. The legend of the Oklahoma octopus is relatively recent, gaining traction in the early 2000s. Despite Oklahoma being a landlocked state, where traditional marine octopuses cannot survive due to the lack of salt water, the legend persists. Some suggest that the creature could be an undiscovered species of freshwater cephalopod, or even an ancient prehistorically adapted octopus that somehow survived and evolved in these freshwater environments. One of the earliest and most widely cited encounters occurred in the February. A group of teenagers swimming in Lake Thunderbird reported seeing a large shadowy figure beneath the surface. Initially, they thought it was a log or debris, but panic ensued when the object moved against the current. One swimmer, Karen Thompson, described feeling something brush against her leg, followed by a sharp, stinging sensation. She emerged from the water with a series of suction-like marks on her calf, resembling octopus tentacle marks. In February 2008, the team of divers conducting a recreational dive in Lake Tenkiller reported a chilling encounter with a massive creature. Lead diver Mark Henson recounted how visibility was low due to the murky water when he noticed an unusually large and dark shape moving swiftly near the lake bed. Initially thinking it was a large catfish or gar, Henson swam closer, only to be confronted by what he described as a gigantic tentacled creature. The divers quickly ascended, shaken but unharmed. Henson's account was corroborated by his fellow divers, adding credibility to the sighting. In 2012, a seasoned fisherman named Earl Mitchell reported an encounter while night fishing on Lake Ulogna. Mitchell claimed that as he was reeling in his catch, a tremendous force pulled against his line, nearly dragging him into the water. After a tense struggle, the line snapped, but not before he glimpsed a massive octopus-like arm breaking the surface. His story combined with unexplained disappearances of pets and livestock near the lake fueled further speculation about the Oklahoma octopus existence. In the summer of 2015, a seasoned fisherman named Tom Harris experienced an encounter that would forever alter his understanding of the lakes he had fished in all his life. Tom, an experienced diver and angler, had spent countless hours exploring the depths of Oklahoma's lakes. However, nothing had prepared him for the day he came face to face with what he believes to be the elusive Oklahoma octopus. Tom Harris was a well-known figure in his community, respected for his knowledge of local wildlife and his dedication to preserving the natural beauty of Oklahoma's lakes. With over 20 years of diving and fishing experience, Tom had a deep appreciation for the aquatic ecosystems he frequented. His usual haunt was Lake Tenkiller, one of the largest and deepest lakes in the state, renowned for its clear waters and abundant fish species. On a warm July afternoon, Tom decided to go for a dive to explore a section of Lake Tenkiller that he had not visited in years. Equipped with his diving gear and underwater camera, Tom aimed to document the underwater flora and fauna, hoping to capture some rare footage of the lake's aquatic life. As he descended into the cool, clear water, Tom marveled at the vibrant ecosystem below. Schools of fish darted around him, and the underwater vegetation swayed gently with the currents. After about 30 minutes of exploring, Tom noticed a peculiar shadowy figure in the distance. Intrigued, he decided to investigate further. As Tom swam closer, the figure began to take shape. To his astonishment, he saw a massive octopus-like creature, partially concealed among the rocks and vegetation. The creature was unlike anything he had ever seen in freshwater. Its body was large and bulbous, covered in a reddish-brown skin that blended seamlessly with the surroundings. Long, sinuous tentacles extended outward, some wrapped around rocks, while others moved languidly in the water. As he moved towards the creature, it suddenly became aware of his presence. One of its tentacles reached out towards him, and Tom felt a sharp tug on his leg. Panic surged through him as he struggled to free himself. Using his dive knife, he managed to cut through the tentacle's grasp, leaving a suction mark on his calf. The creature retreated into the shadows, and Tom, shaken but unharmed, quickly ascended to the surface. Tom surfaced, gasping for breath, and adrenaline coursing through his veins. Tom's encounter reignited the debate over the existence of the Oklahoma octopus. Mainstream scientists remained skeptical, pointing out the biological improbability of a marine octopus living in a freshwater environment. They suggested alternative explanations, such as a misidentified large catfish or a species of freshwater jellyfish that could have given the appearance of an octopus. Researchers into the unknown were more open to Tom's account. They argued that his detailed description and photographic evidence provided valuable data for further investigation. They also noted the similarity of his sighting to other reports of large, octopus-like creatures in Oklahoma's lakes, suggesting that there might indeed be an undiscovered species lurking in the depths. Considering those limitations, it is highly improbable that the brief search stated by Crawford involved much more than simply walking a short distance from the lagoon in either direction and looking for the most conspicuous indications of bodies or human presence. Furthermore, it seems that none of the future visitors to the island pursued the investigation. Interestingly, the mysterious boat is not mentioned again. However, Boved Island was revisited in 1966 by a team doing a biological survey who devoted significant attention to the lagoon. This group determined that the body of water was shallow, had a high concentration of algae, had an alkaline pH due to seal waste, and was supplied with water from the melting ice on the nearby cliffs. However, they made no note of the presence of the lifeboat, assuming it was indeed still there. Alan Crawford appears to be the only person who has shown the least amount of interest in solving the mystery. There was no existing newspaper coverage of the incident at the time, and many who have researched this case have been unable to discover any additional information about the boat or the objects discovered on the coast. There are a few further recent tales of the landing, and oddly enough, no one has inquired about the origin of the boat or made any effort to locate its crew. It seems evident that the boat must have reached Boved Island at some time during the 9-year period between January 1955, when the rock-strewn ice-free area was not present, and April 1964, when it was. The time frame is rather limited. And if the where was indeed a lifeboat, it should be feasible to determine its origin ship. Furthermore, the beach party of the Protector observed no indication of a camp or shelter, fire, or provisions. Furthermore, the existence of a substantial vessel in a lagoon situated at a minimum distance of 30 yards from the coastline implies that it either arrived to the island with a complete crew capable of manually dragging it across challenging terrain, or was deliberately placed there by a smaller party with intentions of remaining on the island for an extended period. However, except for that, everything else is mere conjecture. And what makes this highly unusual event even more peculiar is that the few pieces of information we possess do not entirely corroborate any of the apparent hypotheses. Undoubtedly, this would be the most striking and amorous interpretation, elucidating certain observations made by Crawford. The presence of the where in the lagoon, it was placed there by individuals lacking the means to fasten it securely on land and uncertain if they would require it again, and the proximity of a small assortment of equipment. It is unclear why Crawford's copper flotation or buoyancy tank was flattened, but it seems like the kind of action that a group of desperate men with little resources might take. The lifeboat scenario provides the most plausible explanation for the existence of only one pair of oars on the shore. It is possible that there were initially more oars, but they were lost overboard during a disastrous journey. Despite thorough investigation and multiple voyages to Beaufort Island following the discovery of the lifeboat, the mystery remains unresolved. The island's inclement weather conditions and remote location persistently impede comprehensive investigations, resulting in numerous unresolved inquiries. Who were the individuals present in the lifeboat? What factors precipitated their arrival on this secluded and barren island? And what was their ultimate fate? The forsaken lifeboat on Beaufort Island serves as a representation of the persistent mystery of the ocean and the innate human inclination to venture into and comprehend the unfamiliar. It demonstrates the uncertain and dangerous nature of sea expeditions and the extensive unexplored areas that remain on our planet. With the progress of technology and ongoing research, it is possible that future expeditions will discover additional evidence that may provide insight into this mysterious maritime puzzle. Man claims he found hundreds of monolith-like objects in Antarctica. In the age of digital exploration, tools like Google Earth have opened up the world to anyone with an internet connection. The ability to virtually traverse the globe and scrutinize the most remote corners of our planet has led to some astonishing discoveries. One such claim comes from a man who, while using Google Earth, reported finding hundreds of black monoliths scattered across the icy expanse of Antarctica. This extraordinary claim has sparked widespread interest and debate, raising questions about the nature and origin of these mysterious structures. The story begins with Mr. Davis, an amateur researcher and avid user of Google Earth, who often spends his free time exploring remote regions of the globe through satellite imagery. In early 2024, Davis claimed to have stumbled upon a series of black monoliths in Antarctica. According to his detailed observations, these monoliths appeared in various locations across the continent, sometimes standing alone and other times in clusters. The monoliths, as seen from satellite images, were uniformly dark and rectangular, reminiscent of the monoliths famously depicted in Stanley Kubrick's film. Davis's discovery was quickly posted to various online groups that investigate mysterious anomalies in Antarctica, captivating the imaginations of amateur researchers, ufologists, and curious minds worldwide, who all said that this photograph is evidence that something strange is happening down in Antarctica. The idea of mysterious black monoliths in Antarctica conjured images of ancient civilizations, extraterrestrial artifacts, and hidden secrets waiting to be uncovered beneath the ice. Social media platforms buzzed with speculation, with theories ranging from remnants of an advanced prehistoric civilization to markers left by extraterrestrial visitors. Firstly, the resolution of satellite images available on Google Earth can be limited, often resulting in pixelation and artifacts that may create the illusion of structures that do not exist. High-resolution satellite imagery and ground truthing are essential for verifying such claims. Without these tools, it is challenging to conclusively determine whether the monoliths are real objects or simply anomalies in the data. Secondly, the harsh and dynamic environment of Antarctica poses significant challenges for the preservation of any structures. The continent is subject to extreme weather conditions, including powerful winds, sub-zero temperatures, and shifting ice. These factors make it unlikely for any standing structures, particularly those made of conventional materials, to remain intact for long periods. If the monoliths were indeed real, their material composition and resilience would be subjects of intense scientific interest. Despite these challenges, the possibility of the monoliths being real cannot be entirely dismissed without further investigation. Antarctica has long been a place of mystery and intrigue, with many aspects of its geography and history still shrouded in uncertainty. The discovery of ancient microbial life in subglacial lakes and the existence of large unexplored cave systems beneath the ice suggest that the continent holds many secrets yet to be revealed. If the monoliths were found to be genuine, the implications would be profound. They could potentially rewrite our understanding of human history, geology, or even our place in the universe. The discovery of ancient structures in Antarctica could indicate a previously unknown chapter of human or pre-human civilization, suggesting that the continent was once habitable and inhabited. Alternatively, if the monoliths were of non-terrestrial origin, it would revolutionize our understanding of extraterrestrial life and contact. In either scenario, the discovery would prompt a re-evaluation of Antarctica's role in global history and prehistory. It would likely lead to increased international interest and collaboration in Antarctic research, fostering new scientific and exploratory missions to uncover the continent's hidden mysteries. In the aftermath of the cataclysmic eruption of Mount St. Helens in 1980, the landscape surrounding the volcano was forever altered, transformed into a desolate wilderness of ash and devastation. Yet amidst the chaos and destruction, a soldier stationed in the area had a harrowing encounter that defied all rational explanation. An encounter with a creature that would come to be known as the Bat Squatch. The soldier, whose name was redacted, was part of a search and rescue team tasked with scouring the ash-covered terrain for survivors and assessing the extent of the damage wrought by the eruption. As they traversed the barren landscape, their senses heightened by the acrid smell of sulfur and the ominous rumble of distant aftershocks, they stumbled upon a scene that would haunt them for the rest of their days. Perched atop a jagged outcrop of rock silhouetted against the ashen sky was a creature unlike anything the soldier had ever seen. Standing over 7 feet tall, with leathery wings stretched taut against its muscular frame, the creature exuded an aura of primal menace. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, reflecting the fires that still smoldered in the heart of the volcano. And its most striking feature, a grotesque fusion of bat and ape, sent a shiver down the soldier's spine, filling him with a primal fear that transcended reason. Frozen in place by the sheer enormity of the creature before him, the soldier could only watch in mute horror as the Bat Squatch unfurled its wings and took flight, soaring effortlessly into the smoke-choked sky. For a moment, time stood still, and the soldier found himself caught in the grip of an ancient and primordial terror, a terror that whispered of forces beyond human comprehension and the mysteries that lurked in the depths of the earth. In the days and weeks that followed, the soldier's encounter with the Bat Squatch became the subject of fevered speculation and whispered rumors among those who had witnessed the devastation of Mount St. Helens firsthand. Some dismissed his story as the delusions of a traumatized mind, attributing the sighting to the stress and exhaustion of the rescue efforts. Others, however, believed that the soldier had glimpsed something far more profound, a creature from the depths of legend, awakened by the fury of the volcano, and unleashed upon the world once more. As time passed and the memory of the eruption faded into history, the tale of the Bat Squatch became a cautionary reminder of the awesome power of nature and the mysteries that lurk in the darkest corners of the earth. The mysterious creature, referred to as the Bat Squatch, has captivating resemblances to the a legendary, being commonly described as a fusion of a bat and the renowned Sasquatch. These two mythical creatures, steeped in folklore and speculation, share a mysterious aura that has long intrigued enthusiasts of the unexplained. The initial recognition of this phenomenon dates back to the 1980s, within the vicinity of Mount St. Helens located in Washington state. During that period, notable interest and observations were directed towards this occurrence. The detailed accounts depict the Bat Squatch as an impressive creature towering at a striking height of 9 feet, capturing the attention of spectators with its piercing yellow eyes, vivid blue fur, and a formidable array of razor-sharp teeth. Its menacing appearance includes a wolf-like snout, while its wings, reminiscent of those of bats, span an impressive length of 50 feet, constructed from leathery membranes. The Bat Squatch's imposing stature, combined with its distinctive features, instills a sense of awe and intrigue in those who encounter this mysterious beast. The notion held by certain individuals suggests that the observed sightings of Bat Squatch may potentially be linked to interactions with Mothman. In the month of April in the year 1994, a notable incident occurred featuring a man identified as Brian Canfield. While navigating his truck through Pierce County, Washington, an unforeseen event transpired as Canfield encountered a sudden and total engine malfunction. This incident halted his journey abruptly, posing an unexpected challenge during his drive. Upon the descent of the Bat Squatch as it made contact with the ground in front of a mesmerized onlooker, a chain reaction ensued, leading to the publication of numerous newspaper articles. These articles significantly elevated the profile of this strange creature, firmly establishing it as the iconic cryptid of Washington state. Deciding that has occurred recently is thought by certain individuals to have a correlation with an event that transpired several years back. This linkage has sparked a considerable amount of speculation and interest within the community. On the notable date of May 18, 1980, Mount St. Helens demonstrated its immense force, resulting in a catastrophic eruption that left a lasting impact. Amid the aftermath, an extensive area stretching across 203 square miles and an additional 150 acres, brimming with diverse and lively forests, met its total devastation. The once thriving landscape was entirely wiped out, leaving a void where nature's beauty once flourished. In this particular area, there was an immense landslide incident, setting the benchmark as the most extensive one on record. Huge blocks of compact rock were vigorously thrust downwards along the mountainside, entirely burying the once exposed landscape. During the calamitous occurrence, a deluge of mud and ash cascaded ceaselessly from above, shrouding the radiant glow of the sun and shrouding the environment in a veil of obscurity. The severity of the disaster was heightened by the continuous echoes of thunder and bursts of lightning that echoed across the region, instilling a feeling of fear and hopelessness among the inhabitants. The relentless rumblings of thunder and the dazzling flashes of lightning added an element of dread and hopelessness to an already dire situation. During this era, a prevailing notion exists that the appearance of the mysterious entity called Bat Squatch took place in this barren expanse, stirring curiosity and sparking numerous speculations among those fascinated by such mysteries. In the year February 2009, a further documented encounter with the mysterious Bat Squatch occurred in the vicinity of the awe-inspiring Mount Shasta in California. During this occurrence, a cluster of avid hikers, thoroughly relishing their expedition in the vicinity, observed the event firsthand. Their excitement added an extra layer of enthusiasm to the experience as they immersed themselves in the beauty of the surroundings. In a state of disbelief, they witnessed a massive entity coming out of a cavern located deep within the harsh landscape of the mountain. The Bat Squatch, a creature of colossal proportions and remarkable grandeur, elegantly ascended into the expansive heavens, eliciting astonishment from the hikers who witnessed this incredible sight. In Butler County, Pennsylvania, an intriguing and noteworthy event occurred. In a remarkable sighting, a majestic Bat Squatch entity, towering impressively at a staggering height of 8 feet, was witnessed assuming an unusual stance, seemingly stooped down, positioned along the edge of the road. Witnesses made significant observations regarding this specific sighting, highlighting an exceptionally remarkable characteristic. The entity had a head that bore a striking resemblance to an aerodynamic helmet, showcasing a distinct shape that caught their attention. The creature known as Bat Squatch, which has been the subject of numerous reports and sightings, is described as possessing notable physical features that set it apart. Not only does this mysterious entity exhibit muscular arms and legs that are well developed along with claw-like appendages, but it is also distinguished by its unique and striking appearance. The incident that drew significant interest occurred on April 14, 2014, at Archbishop Hogan High School in Akron, Ohio. The event sparked widespread attention and speculation within the local community and beyond due to its intriguing nature. The captivating tale of the Bat Squatch carries deep cultural importance in the rich tapestry of Native American legends, specifically rooted in the scenic Pacific Northwest area of the United States. The native populations inhabiting this region possess deeply intertwined tales of a powerful and supernatural being reminiscent of an enormous bat with a unique humanoid form, roaming the thick woodlands and etching an enduring impression on the souls and psyches of individuals who, by chance or fate, encounter its presence. These intricate narratives, passed down through generations, vividly depict the mystical entity as a mystical guardian of the forests, revered and feared in equal measure by those who have come face to face with its mysterious aura. Throughout numerous generations, these fascinating narratives have been treasured and transmitted, standing as a testament to the lasting impact of this mysterious entity on the community's shared awareness. The stories woven around this strange being have endured the test of time, becoming a profound reflection of its enduring influence on the cultural fabric of the region. The legend of the Bat Squatch has its roots deeply intertwined in history, evolving over time with each narration adding to the mysterious aura surrounding this fantastical being. Originating from tales passed down through generations, the Bat Squatch has captured the imagination of many with its mysterious presence. Eyewitness reports of the mythical creature known as the Bat Squatch show discrepancies in their portrayals. However, certain recurring features are commonly mentioned across various testimonies. This mysterious entity is commonly portrayed as a gigantic creature, possessing traits reminiscent of bats and a human-like body structure adorned with enormous wings that extend over vast distances. The depiction often emphasizes the imposing nature of this being, combining a blend of supernatural and earthly features to create a formidable presence. In a wealth of accounts, the appearance of its outer layer, regardless of whether it is fur or feathers, varies significantly, showcasing a spectrum of colors that span from rich, dark brown to a foreboding black shade. Witnesses often make specific reference to the bat squatch's eyes, which reputedly shine with a threatening red gleam, intensifying the overall sense of fear that envelopes this strange creature. In essence, the distinguishing feature of this remarkable being lies in its remarkable appendages, razor-sharp claws that embellish both its hands and feet, possessing the capacity to cause substantial damage to any potential adversaries. The creature known as Bat Squatch demands notice, not only due to its striking visual presence, but also because of the havoc it could wreak upon encountering it. Witnesses have reported that the Bat Squatch is known for producing a terrifying screech or a haunting wail that adds to the already intense fear and unease experienced during any interaction with this mysterious being. The bone-chilling sound it emits is described as a chilling cry that heightens the sense of dread surrounding encounters with this cryptid. In the annals of cryptozoology, few encounters have captured the imagination and sparked as much speculation as the remarkable tale of Albert Ostman's encounter with Bigfoot. Ostman's story, recounted in vivid detail and with unwavering conviction, offers a tantalizing glimpse into the elusive world of the legendary creature known as Bigfoot or Sasquatch. From the rugged wilderness of British Columbia to the depths of human imagination, Ostman's account resonates with a sense of authenticity and intrigue that continues to fascinate believers and skeptics alike. In the year 1924, amidst the waning fervor of the gold rush era, Albert Ostman, a Swedish immigrant, embarked on a new adventure in gold prospecting. Following years of toil in construction and logging, Ostman sought a refreshing change. Intrigued by the tales of a nearby gold mine close to Toba Inlet in the vicinity of Vancouver, Canada, he saw this as an opportunity for both exploration and a chance to unwind. The picturesque setting of the area, adorned with lush green trees and encircled by majestic mountains, promised a serene escape from his prolonged stint in construction work. Engaging the services of a knowledgeable indigenous guide, Osman was led to the head of the Toba Inlet while being regaled with captivating stories about the region. The guide's vivid narratives painted a vivid picture of the land and its history, immersing Ostman further into the allure of his surroundings. In a particular story, there was a mention of a fabled gold mine. It revolved around a Caucasian man who frequented the mine, known for his excessive drinking habits, yet he always seemed to possess an abundance of gold. However, on one occasion, he ventured into the mine and never returned. Local speculations arose, suggesting that a Sasquatch, a legendary ape-like creature, might have been responsible for his disappearance. Upon encountering a creature unknown to him, Ostman initially dismissed it as mere folklore. Subsequently, after his guide left him at a designated location near the inlet, he instructed the guide to return for him in 3 weeks, as he intended to camp there upon completing his prospecting expedition. Progressing further into the wilderness for about 10 miles in search of a rumored gold mine, Ostman eventually identified a prime location for his base camp. However, his tranquility was short-lived, for peculiar occurrences unfolded mere days later. Waking from a deep slumber one morning, Ostman was bewildered to find his campsite in disarray, despite hearing no disturbances the night before. An initial assumption of an animal's involvement was made to explain the unsettling events. On the second night of his camping expedition, Ostman discovered that his backpack had been emptied with food clearly missing. Rather than venturing out in search of gold, he decided to remain at the camp, eager to catch a glimpse of the perpetrator. Despite his vigilance, nothing revealed itself. Determined not to fall asleep on the third night, Ostman was resolute in his efforts to uncover the mystery shrouding his camp. Yet his determination faltered as he succumbed to sleep. In the dead of night, he was abruptly roused from his slumber, as an unseen force lifted him from the ground, still cocooned within his sleeping bag. The eerie events of that night left him both perplexed and anxious as he pondered the mysterious presence haunting his campsite. After enduring what he estimated to be a 3-hour ordeal of being forcibly moved and carried, Osman was eventually released. He recounted hearing voices, a total of 4, conversing in an unfamiliar language. With the rising sun shedding light on his surroundings, he was able to observe them clearly. The group consisted of an elderly man, an elderly woman as well as a young boy and a girl. The towering stature of the elderly woman, towering over 7 feet tall and weighing around 500 pounds, left a lasting impression on him. The elderly man, exceeding her in size, appeared formidable, leading Osman to question the effectiveness of his firearm against such a massive being. Concerned it might provoke aggression instead of providing protection. During his captivity, within a secluded valley, the strange family of oversized shaggy humanoids sustained him by occasionally offering sweet roots as sustenance. Initially reserved, the younger members gradually warmed up to Osman, displaying curiosity about him. Engaging with them, he crafted makeshift ladles for them and entertained them with old snuff cans as toys, fostering a rapport that would later contribute to his devised escape strategy. While he had previously been told a tale about a man blinding a bull by casting snuff into its eyes, his encounter with Sasquatch provided a first-hand experience of the allure of snuff. Initially offering the young boy a snuff box containing a teaspoon of the substance, it became evident that both Sasquatch and the old man derived pleasure from its taste, eagerly returning for more. Realizing that the key to his escape lay in feeding the old man an entire box of snuff, Osman observed the man's growing fascination with the product as he inched closer. This escalating interest culminated in the old man seizing a box, promptly emptying its contents into his mouth with a single gulp, and then meticulously licking the container clean. After some time had passed, the elderly gentleman started feeling unwell. Sensing an opportunity, Osman swiftly seized the moment and fled. Brandishing his rifle, he fired off warning shots to cover his escape. Remarkably, no one pursued him. Descending the mountain, he eventually reached a camp situated nearby. Initially, Osman simply informed the locals of his predicament, claiming he was lost, choosing to keep the encounter with the Sasquatch to himself out of fear of ridicule. It wasn't until much later that he divulged this detail, apprehensive of being labeled delusional. Consequently, he resolved never to venture into prospecting activities again. Haunted by the unsettling experience, the notion of mysterious beings inhabiting the untamed wilderness has long captivated believers, with numerous recounts echoing this idea. Intriguingly, this narrative of encountering colossal humanoids towering over individuals is not a novel occurrence. However, scientists assert that without substantial evidence substantiating these claims, they cannot be regarded as established truths. This pervasive theme of encountering mysterious entities in remote areas continues to fascinate many, shedding light on the profound impact of these stories on those who claim to have experienced such encounters. Despite the allure of these tales, the scientific community remains hesitant to embrace them as verifiable facts until conclusive proof is forthcoming. Throughout history, numerous individuals have dubbed this particular incident as one of the most frightening episodes to date. They have emphasized that Albert Osman, the central figure in this encounter, was characterized as a reserved and unassuming individual, which raises doubts regarding any potential fabrication of the details he recounted. According to reports, in his pursuit of a fulfilling life, he consistently shied away from seeking fame and instead prioritized simplicity. Albert Osman's account is widely considered one of the most credible accounts involving a Bigfoot creature. One of the primary reasons for the difficulty in obtaining physical evidence of Bigfoot is the creature's elusive nature and mastery of its environment. Bigfoot is believed to be a highly intelligent and elusive creature, capable of evading detection and blending seamlessly into its natural surroundings. With its keen senses and instinctual awareness of its surroundings, Bigfoot has honed the art of stealth and camouflage to near perfection, making it exceedingly difficult for humans to capture. Definitive proof of its existence. Moreover, Bigfoot is believed to inhabit some of the most remote and inaccessible regions of North America, far from the prying eyes of civilization. The dense forests, rugged mountains, and vast swaths of wilderness that comprise Bigfoot's habitat are often impenetrable to all but the most determined and resourceful researchers. As a result, opportunities for direct encounters with Bigfoot are rare, and obtaining physical evidence such as hair, scat, or footprints can be exceedingly challenging. Even when physical evidence of Bigfoot is discovered, it is often subject to skepticism and scrutiny from the scientific community and mainstream media. In many cases, purported Bigfoot hair samples, footprints, or other matter have been dismissed as hoaxes or misidentifications of known animal species. Without rigorous scientific analysis and verification, it can be difficult to distinguish genuine evidence of Bigfoot from mundane or fabricated artifacts. Furthermore, the study of Bigfoot is hindered by the lack of consensus among researchers and investigators regarding the creature's taxonomy and classification. While some scientists believe that Bigfoot represents a distinct species of hominid or primate, others argue that it may be a surviving remnant of an ancient ancestor or a previously undiscovered species of ape. Without a clear understanding of Bigfoot's taxonomic status, it is challenging to design effective research methodologies and protocols for obtaining physical evidence of the creature. In addition to these challenges, the stigma and skepticism surrounding the study of Bigfoot can deter serious researchers and scientists from dedicating time and resources to the investigation. Despite the growing body of anecdotal evidence and eyewitness accounts, Bigfoot remains a fringe topic in the scientific community, often relegated to the realm of pseudoscience or sensationalism. As a result, funding for Bigfoot research is scarce, and opportunities for rigorous scientific study are limited. Despite these obstacles, there have been instances where physical evidence of Bigfoot has been discovered, providing tantalizing glimpses into the creature's existence. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence is the famous Patterson-Gimlin film captured in 1967, which purportedly shows a female Bigfoot walking through the forests of Northern California. While skeptics have attempted to debunk the film as a hoax, numerous experts have analyzed the footage and concluded that it is authentic and unaltered. Similarly, there have been numerous documented cases of Bigfoot footprints, hair samples, and fecal matter collected from various locations across North America. While some of these samples have been subjected to scientific analysis and found to be inconclusive, others have yielded intriguing results that defy easy explanation. For example, DNA analysis of purported Bigfoot hair samples has revealed sequences that do not match any known animal species, raising questions about their origin and authenticity. As of right now, the quest for physical evidence of Bigfoot is a challenging and complex endeavor that is fraught with obstacles and uncertainties. From the creature's elusive nature and mastery of its environment to the lack of consensus among researchers and the stigma surrounding the study of Bigfoot, there are numerous factors that have hindered efforts to obtain conclusive proof of its existence. Despite these challenges, there have been instances where physical evidence of Bigfoot has been discovered, providing tantalizing clues that continue to fuel speculation and debate about the creature's existence. As researchers continue to explore the wild places of North America in search of Bigfoot, the quest for definitive proof of its existence remains one of the greatest mysteries of the natural world. Wiltshire, a county in southwest England, is renowned for its historical landmarks and strange phenomena. In addition to its famous crop circles and ancient megaliths like Stonehenge, Wiltshire is now the site of an intriguing modern mystery: an egg-shaped metallic UFO sighting. This event, which occurred in the middle of a private field, has captivated both the local population and UFO enthusiasts, who have stated that over the last few decades, more and more of these oval-shaped UFOs are being witnessed, leading to a variety of interesting theories to be put forward. A man going by the name of John shared an intriguing picture of an odd oval-shaped object that had landed in the center of the field on social media. When he first drew closer, he claimed he thought it might have been a drone or something blimp-like, but he was unable to make out what he was seeing. The individual claimed that the encounter took place in Wiltshire, England, a region well known for being a hotbed for UFO sightings. The location of the object was on private land in the middle of a sizable field. The man claimed that although it is not visible in the picture, there are several signs to the left informing people that this is private land and barbed wire dividing the field from the road. The object's details emerged as he got closer. It was a metallic oval that was shiny and about the size of a small vehicle lying peacefully on the ground. The man saw that the item had a smooth, nearly mirror-like surface that reflected light and had a little to it. It was the smoothest-looking item John had ever seen, with no visible openings or seams. The thing seemed even more strange when the sun set, giving the landscape a golden tint. Oddly enough, this isn't the first time that this type of object has been witnessed. In fact, according to an interview conducted exclusively by the news outlet, the Daily Mail, a whistleblower has revealed that during the 1980s, an unidentified flying object with a distinctive egg-shaped, metallic exterior was securely stored at a hidden military base in Nevada. Engineers stationed at the Nevada Air Base have made a rather intriguing claim regarding a peculiar aircraft discovered in the desert, and they assert that the Central Intelligence Agency stumbled upon this mysterious craft and promptly transferred it to their custody for thorough investigation. However, faced with an overwhelming mystery, the engineers found themselves unable to gain access to the inner workings of the object. As a result, it was subsequently shipped off to another base, in hopes that further studies could be conducted. The man went so far as to suggest that the low humming sound was interacting with the surrounding vegetation in order to have an impact on the ecosystem. He saw that the plant stems were bending in the direction of the object, almost like a magnet. In 1976, a similar sighting was reported near the village of Avebury, involving an egg-shaped metallic object seen hovering over a field. Witnesses described the object as having a smooth, reflective surface and exhibiting flight capabilities far beyond conventional aircraft. Such incidents have kept Wiltshire at the forefront of UFO research and public interest. The more commonplace theories put out by skeptics were atmospheric occurrences or optical illusions, and they also contended that psychological variables, such as sleep deprivation or increased suggestibility brought on by the area's mystical reputation, might have impacted John's report. Several doubters suggested that since the item was observed on a farmer's property, it might have been a piece of farming equipment in use. However, believers have said that UFO sightings above farmland are not a new phenomenon, adding that reports of strange objects in the sky date back to ancient times. But the modern era of UFO sightings began in the mid-20th century. Rural areas, including farmland, have frequently been the settings for these encounters, possibly due to the clear visibility and lack of light pollution that such locations provide. One of the earliest and most famous cases occurred in 1950 in McMinnville, Oregon. Paul and Evelyn Trent captured photographs of a metallic, disc-shaped object hovering over their farm. These images remain some of the most credible and widely studied UFO photographs to this day. A compelling theory posits that these egg-shaped UFOs may actually be drones, serving as reconnaissance or exploratory vehicles for larger, more complex motherships. The concept of drones or unmanned aerial vehicles is well established in human technology. Modern drones are used for various purposes, including surveillance, scientific research, and military operations. By extrapolating from our own technological advancements, it is conceivable that an advanced extraterrestrial civilization could employ similar yet far more sophisticated technologies. Egg-shaped metallic UFOs are often described as exhibiting flight characteristics that surpass current human capabilities, and these include rapid acceleration, sudden changes in direction, and silent operation. Such capabilities suggest the use of advanced propulsion systems, possibly involving anti-gravity or inertial dampening technologies. If these smaller craft are indeed drones, they could be designed for optimal maneuverability and efficiency, enabling them to navigate diverse environments and gather data with precision. Reports of egg-shaped metallic UFOs often describe them as small, compact, and highly maneuverable. Witnesses frequently note their seamless reflective surfaces and the absence of visible means of propulsion, and these features align with the idea of a drone designed for stealth and efficiency. For instance, the 1964 New Mexico sighting by police officer Lonnie Zamora involved a small egg-shaped craft with unusual markings. The object was seen landing and then taking off at high speed, leaving behind physical evidence such as burn marks and depressions in the ground. Similar reports from various parts of the world describe small agile UFOs that appear to be conducting detailed surveys or inspections of the environment. UFO researchers that have spent decades looking into these mysterious aircrafts have suggested that these egg-shaped metallic UFOs are indeed drones, and that their design and operation might serve several potential purposes. One primary function of these drones could be to gather information about Earth's environment, including its geography, climate, and biological diversity. Advanced sensors and imaging technologies could enable these drones to collect high-resolution data, which could be transmitted back to a larger mothership or to a distant control center. These drones might also be used for scientific exploration, studying phenomena such as weather patterns, magnetic fields, and other natural occurrences. Their ability to hover and maneuver in precise ways would make them ideal for detailed scientific observation and analysis. Another possible function is the monitoring of human activity and technological progress. The presence of these drones near military installations, nuclear facilities, and other strategic locations suggests a keen interest in our technological capabilities and societal development. This surveillance could be part of a broader effort to assess potential threats or opportunities for contact. These drones might also be assessing the impact of human activity on the environment. With advanced sensors, they could monitor pollution levels, deforestation, and other indicators of environmental health. This information could be crucial for an extraterrestrial civilization in understanding how human actions are affecting the planet. If egg-shaped metallic UFOs are drones, it is likely that they operate in conjunction with larger, more complex motherships. These motherships could serve as command centers, housing sophisticated communication systems, scientific laboratories, and living quarters for advanced beings. The motherships might remain in orbit or hidden in remote locations, deploying smaller drones for specific missions, and then receiving and processing the collected data. The relationship between the drones and the motherships could be akin to that between satellites and ground stations in human space programs. And the motherships could provide logistical support, repair facilities, and energy replenishment for the drones, ensuring their sustained operation over long periods. In more recent times, sightings of egg-shaped metallic UFOs have continued to be reported worldwide. For instance, in February 2004, pilots and crew encountered an egg-shaped object off the coast of California. The object, described as smooth and metallic, exhibited flight capabilities far beyond any known human technology. This incident, among others, has been part of ongoing investigations by the U.S. Department of Defense into unexplained aerial phenomena. Theories surrounding egg-shaped metallic UFOs are as diverse as the sightings themselves. Broadly, these theories can be categorized into natural phenomena, advanced human technology, and extraterrestrial origins. Some skeptics argue that many UFO sightings, including those of egg-shaped objects, can be attributed to natural phenomena. These explanations include atmospheric conditions, optical illusions, or misidentified man-made objects, such as weather, balloons, or conventional aircraft. However, this theory often falls short in explaining sightings involving high-speed maneuvers, sudden accelerations, and other characteristics that defy known physical laws. Another prevalent theory is that these UFOs are actually advanced human technology, possibly developed in secret by military or private entities. Proponents of this viewpoint to the rapid advancements in aerospace technology and the possibility of classified projects that are far ahead of publicly acknowledged capabilities. These UFO incidents, for example, have led some to speculate about the existence of breakthrough propulsion technologies that can account for the observed flight characteristics. The most tantalizing and widely discussed theory is that egg-shaped metallic UFOs are of advanced origin. Advocates of this hypothesis argue that the advanced flight capabilities and behaviors observed in many sightings are indicative of technology far beyond human reach. This theory is bolstered by the lack of conclusive evidence tying these objects to any known human source. Furthermore, the presence of similar sightings across different cultures and time periods suggests a pattern that transcends mere coincidence or hoaxes. The impact of egg-shaped metallic UFOs has been profound, and many websites that track unidentified object sightings have said that this type of UFO sighting is on the rise. Public interest in UFOs has been further ignited by recent developments, such as the release of previously classified U.S. government documents and the establishment of official programs to investigate unexplained aerial phenomena. These initiatives have lent a degree of legitimacy to the study of UFOs, encouraging more serious consideration of the subject within both scientific and governmental circles. In addition to their influence on popular culture, egg-shaped metallic UFOs have also had a tangible impact on scientific inquiry. Researchers in fields ranging from aerospace engineering to theoretical physics have been drawn to the challenge of explaining the extraordinary flight characteristics reported in many sightings. This has led to innovative ideas and theories, some of which may eventually contribute to advancements in human technology. Due to the amount of sightings that have been reported by eyewitnesses above Wiltshire in England, this location now has a reputation as a hotspot for UFO sightings, attracting the attention of researchers, enthusiasts, and curious tourists from around the world. Wiltshire's association with the mysterious dates back millennia. With its iconic ancient sites such as Stonehenge and Avebury, these megalithic structures have long been linked to astronomical observations and otherworldly connections, setting a cultural backdrop that primes the region for modern UFO lore. One of the most compelling UFO cases in Wiltshire occurred in 1965 near the village of Warminster. Residents reported a series of strange noises and unexplained aerial phenomena, leading to what is now known as the Warminster Thing. Over several years, hundreds of sightings were reported involving mysterious lights, cigar-shaped crafts, and flying discs. This period of intense activity firmly established Wiltshire in the annals of UFO history. In the decades since, sightings have continued to be reported across the county. Various theories have been proposed to explain why Wiltshire experiences A high concentration of UFO sightings. These theories encompass natural phenomena, human-made objects, and the possibility of extraterrestrial visitation. The most intriguing theory is that some sightings represent genuine encounters with mysterious aircrafts that can't be explained. Proponents argue that the advanced flight characteristics and behaviors observed in many wheelchair UFO sightings suggest technology far beyond human capabilities. The persistent and detailed nature of some reports lends credence to the idea that wheelchair might be a focal point for extraterrestrial surveillance or contact. Wheelchair's reputation as a UFO hotspot has had a significant impact on local culture and tourism, and the county has embraced its mysterious status with numerous events, tours, and attractions catering to UFO enthusiasts and curious visitors. Annual UFO conferences and gatherings in towns like Warminster and Marlborough draw speakers and attendees from around the world, fostering a community of researchers and believers. These events often include lectures, workshops, and skywatching sessions contributing to the local economy and promoting Wheelchair as a center for UFO research. As of right now, Wheelchair's status as a UFO hotspot is a fascinating blend of historical intrigue, modern sightings, and cultural impact. While explanations for the high frequency of UFO reports range from natural phenomena to advanced human technology and extraterrestrial visitation, the allure of the unknown ensures that Wheelchair remains a focal point for UFO enthusiasts and researchers.